2,228,800,000. I'll repeat that. 2,228,800,000. That's the amount of seconds an average human on this world has to live, according to mathforum.org. That's a huge number. You feel like with that much time in life, you feel like you'd have a relatively stress-free time. Time to connect with family, hang out with friends, pursue personal achievement, and even time to take a day off. Yet, according to the American Psychological Association, stress is on the rise. 44% of people have reported that in the past 5 years, they feel more stressed. How is that possible with so much time to get everything done? Is it because of the environment? Is it because of work? Because of family, culture? What could it be? I'm going to more focus on a possible solution. That solution is time management. And I want to focus on how to prioritize and how to minimize with time. So I was reading a book called Eat That Frog. And it was a great quote that I want to read for you. It's by Brian Tracy. It says, Mark Twain once said that if the first thing you do each morning is to eat a live frog, you can go through the day with the satisfaction of knowing that it's probably the worst thing that's going to happen to you all day long. Your frog is your biggest, most important task, the one you're most likely going to procrastinate, and the one that will give you the biggest impact on your life. Brian, you hit me with some deep wisdom right there. I wasn't ready for that when I was reading. What's your frog? What's the thing in the morning that you go like, I got so-and-so before I get to it? Is it working out? Is it starting that home project? Is it doing that thing your boss told you to do, but you have a million other things to do? For me, I'm in sales. And the biggest frog in our thing, warts and all, is cold calling. The sheer word of it goes shivers down my spine. Because not only do the clients not particularly like this event, surprisingly enough, the sales don't really like it either, because it's kind of like flashback to high school or middle school. It's a steady dose of rejectment, just repeated and repeated and repeated. But for cold calling, that is the foundation for sales success. You get no proposals without a cold call. You get no sales without cold call. You can't get any meetings without a cold call. So with all that pain in the beginning of the awkwardness of, they don't really want to talk to me, you're not going to get to your sales career goals if you don't make a few uncomfortable calls. So find out what your frog is and make sure that you prioritize and get that done as soon as you can. And then you're going to feel a lot more at peace. The second thing that I want to look at is how to minimize. Minimize in the sense of your distractions. So you can have your whole prioritized list. You can say, okay, I want to make sure that I work out first thing in the morning so the rest of the day I have no excuses. But things can get in the way, right? There can be that thing that you start in the beginning of your day and you realize, I'm just going to sit down and watch TV for a second. Or, my friend's calling real quick. I was actually looking at an article from lifehack.org, and they really kind of focused on 4 critical ways to stop wasting time. And what they saw was a great piece called Stop Being a Distraction Magnet. And I thought about that. Can one really kind of attract distraction? Absolutely yes. So they had some great tips. For one, they said, if you're trying to focus, turn off or silence that Siamese twin on your hip. Make sure that that's not your distraction. Turn off your email if you're at work when you're trying to get a crucial project done. Or even put a sign on your door saying, I'm trying to get something. Each person has their individual vice. And mine was YouTube, and is YouTube. I don't know about you, but for me, I could straight up watch videos for hours and gain nothing intelligent from it. And you always try to justify it, right? You always try to go about and saying, well, I can use that to look at some Toastmaster speeches so I can be a better speaker. What are you really watching? Watching 2 cats fight in ninja costumes. Not the most effective use of your time. But it really hit me that this was my advice. About a month ago, right before I left for this great state of Missouri, my whole family was over. My mom, my dad, my 3 brothers, and my godson, niece, and nephew. They were all outside, having a great time. And I wasn't. I was inside. Watching YouTube? Like, I wanted to go outside, but then I saw the next video coming up. And I had that urge to click next. And right before I did, I had the epiphany to not click. Because how messed up is that? That a vice can overtake a more present set of your values, of spending with family. Maybe it's not just work, and maybe you don't realize it on that grand of scale of things. Like, hey, mine's not too bad. But maybe it's taken away from quality time with family, or friends, or your personal achievement goals. For me, I knew right away I had to do a step to minimize that time. And what I did, if you see my phone, I deleted it off my phone. So if I'm going on to YouTube, I got to go on a laptop. So there's one extra step. Also, I make sure there's a barrier in front of the way. Now that's not to say to never do anything of your vices. Like, we're human, we need to enjoy our lives. But you got to make sure you have ways to minimize that wasted time. So I make sure that maybe I have a physical thing. Maybe I have to do 10 push-ups before I go on YouTube. Or maybe I have to write down, I want to go on YouTube because of what? Or you can just text someone, let them know, hey, I'm going on for this. So for you, that could be Netflix. For you, that could be the bar. For you, that could be sleeping in. What is your vice that's taken away from maximizing your time and prioritizing so you don't have that panic of, oh, I need to get a lot done? So life comes fast. And one thing I know is that the time will tick by. The minutes, hours, days, and decades are going to fly by faster than a Usain Bolt 100-meter dash. And what you do with your time not only makes up who you are, but it makes up where you're going. But don't worry, Mother Teresa put it best by saying, yesterday is gone, tomorrow has not yet come, we only have today, so let's begin. So let us begin to prioritize what's important to us that we want to get done, and to minimize the time we are wasting on our vices. My time is up. Your time begins in 3, 2, 1.